Good morning, good day, good evening. I am, as always, your host, Brodie Robertson, and today I thought I forgot to open my chat, but then I remembered that I had it inside of my OBS window. How is everybody doing? It's been a long time since I've done a US time stream, so a hi to all the people that I probably haven't spoken to in a while. 1 second, I'll put my music on, turn that down, and here we go. It is 6 a.m. in India. India just seems to be in the perfect time zone for any sort of Australian streams. Wow, Nightbot joined quickly. That's impressive. Usually Nightbot takes like 5 or 10 minutes to join. Wow, okay. Is everything working on the YouTube stream? Nothing breaking? No, like, video just not playing or anything? Judging by the fact that people are talking, I'm going to assume that everything's working as it should. How you doing, Forsen? How you doing, Viet? How you doing, Netrix, Ronson? I don't, I don't know what that name was. It's night in the Netherlands, and I have to catch a plane soon. Rip. Well, luckily you don't have anything to do on the plane then. So, hey, I guess you can just keep watching. Weird you should let me know you're streaming. That's a first. I'm trying to work out what your name is. I don't know where the spaces are supposed to be in that name. I'm not sure. 6:30 p.m. here, US Mountain. Apparently, YouTube doesn't like Linux YouTubers, doesn't it? What did YouTube do now? Did it not give you... Oh, no, right. You're the one who said about the notification. Yeah. I don't know. YouTube just doesn't like to give out notifications randomly. I don't know. I don't know how many of you guys were here during the pre-stream. But did you see that Tantacruel commented? I didn't think that my channel was big enough for Tantacruel to think, like, to care at all what I had to say about Audacity, but apparently it is, so that's cool. I don't know if he's here, or if he said that he wasn't going to be able to stick around, but, if he shows back up for the VOD, hi Tantacruel. We're gonna talk about Audacity in a bit. Is this live on Library too? No, it's not, because Library has really weird stream restrictions where I would have to, like, lower my bitrate to basically unwatchable in my eyes. I would have to lower it down to, like, 3,000 kilobits. Don't belittle yourself, man. You're second to only to Luke Smith. No, I mean, like, in my actual sub count. Like, if you look at, like, the scale of Linux YouTubers, there's, like, many people in between, like, me and, like, DT, for example. And many of those people have made videos on Audacity. Plus, like, Muda and Linus Tech Tips made a video on Audacity. So, yeah. But still, apparently, my opinion slightly matters. That's cool. Broadcast in 480p and you'll be just fine. Yeah, probably. I want to try it at some point. I will get to trying that at some point. It's just a matter of doing it. Yeah. QuickTime server streaming back in the day could be... Oh, God. Yeah, I'm lucky I was never around for that. Streaming is very easy now. I just, like, click stream and it works. Nothing to do. I've got everything going to restream, and it just, like, magically goes everywhere that it needs to go. Before I get into anything else, I just want to say a little thank you to some of the new channel supporters. So over on Patreon, thank you to Ulfnick and Clark. They both joined in the past couple of days. And as for YouTube, I actually got a couple new YouTube members, which is rare, actually, because YouTube likes to take a lot of your money. So a lot of people don't use YouTube memberships. But thank you to Ruka and also Bruno, who both joined a couple of days ago. Under how we can solve the streaming problem for distributed/decentralized platforms. I really don't know. That's one of the problems with doing decentralized stuff. When it... yeah, I don't know. I am not a... What's the word? Professional in live streaming and decentralized decentralization. So I definitely don't know how you could address that. The way that Library's currently doing it is by centralizing the live stream servers, and yeah. Hi, Philip. How are you doing? Are you going to try to get yourself banned again today? Brodo Robbins. That's not the worst way of spelling my name. I've seen worse. Hey, Ruth, thanks for the content. Thank you for watching, Connor. You doing pretty good? I'm doing pretty good as well. It's 10 in the morning, which is gonna mean that I am slightly more energetic than I normally am. Library's de facto centralized platform. Yeah, okay, the problem with that I've sort of stated since early on with Library is most of the nodes are run by the Library team. While, like, anyone can run a node, there's no reason, there's no incentivization for anyone else to run a node, which ends up leading to, like, basically no one doing it. Like, you've got some, like, the really hardcore guys doing it, like, some of the guys who are in since, like, day one, but most people don't. Unlike PeerTube, for example, where the reason to host your own node is to have full control of your content, there's not the same sort of benefit in the Library case. What do you think about Wayland plus the Steam Deck? It's running a AMD APU, so I don't see any reason why it wouldn't work. If it was running NVIDIA drivers, maybe it'd be a little bit funky, but considering the fact that it's just running AMD. Yeah, it's an AMD GPU. RDNA 2? Yeah, RDNA 2. So, if you want to go and set it up, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. And the GPU in it is actually really powerful, so you should be fine, I guess. Yeah. I presume that it's running, I presume it's running Xorg KDE, not Wayland KDE. I don't know. All we know about the Steam Deck right now is that it's running KDE. I don't know how, like, they're getting it to work magically in the background. We're gonna have to sort of, like, see what happens when SteamOS 3.0 actually drops. Because I don't believe SteamOS 3 is publicly out yet. Unless I'm mistaken. Why Wayland? Just because, I guess. I don't know. SteamOS 3 is... Yeah, it's not out yet, according to Reddit 5 days ago. So unless that has changed since then, it's not publicly out. We'll go to the SteamOS website, actually. The SteamOS website still mentions Steam machines. Jeez, they have not updated this in a long-ass time. Thank you for the $5, Matthew. Don't have any messages to say along that? Just want to... Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you for the $5. If you have a message you want to say, let me know now, I guess. You might have hit the enter key before you meant to send it, but... Why do you send the notification, like, 15 seconds after it happened? What are you doing, Steam Labs? Streamlabs. Reddit 5 days goes like newspaper 3 years ago. Yeah, fair enough. I built a Steam machine when SteamOS came out. How did that experience go? I can't imagine it was a great experience. Yeah, back then. Because what, you would have had... Obviously, you could do wine stuff, but as for native Steam games, I think it was 198 titles, and a lot of those titles were indie games. So... yeah, if you like indie games, I guess that's cool. And I think at the time, Bastion and stuff would have been out, so you had good games to play. But you weren't playing, like, most things you wanted to play. Oh yeah, you said it mentions Debian. It doesn't just mention Debian. It mentions Debian 8. This is how old this website is. They've just left it and not updated it in God knows how long. What is the current version of Debian? Because it's definitely not Debian 8. One of you Debian guys in here, let me know. Debian 11, I think. Yes, maybe. Debian 12? No, Debian 11. Maybe I'm wrong. Steam users waiting for updates like... Okay, 10 is stable. Right, okay. So 11 is where... Right, yeah, makes sense. Yep, okay. 10 is stable, 10... Yeah, cool, okay. GeoCities is... There actually are a lot of GeoCities sites still running. Yeah, I just looked up Debian and Google decided to autofill it to 11, so I just assumed. Debian 11 Bullseye. You know what? Let's have a look at this. Because it's supposed to be a news stream. Let's have a look at Debian 11 Bullseye. Oh, this is a great article. great article. It will exist, basically. Okay, well, that's a great topic. I don't use Debian anyway, so I couldn't really say much about it. Oh, on that note of Debian and not Debian, planning on jumping to Arch soon. Go and buy a Steam Deck, and then you'll be jumping to Arch. I am expecting and knowing it's going to happen that as soon as the Steam Deck goes public, like r/PC gaming, r/Linux gaming is going to be full of people being like, I use Arch because I use a Steam Deck. I am an Arch user, by the way. Just like milking that joke that's been dead for like 10 years. I like that OBS scene transition. If you want to get a similar one, my original template and also my what's the word? I guess my opening screen came from, what was the website called? I don't remember now. Yeah, here it is. Let me load the website. I don't think wait. Okay, no. My internet's just been weird. All of my overlay stuff came from this website. Not sponsored, by the way, but they just do good stuff. And they're literally all year round doing a 50% off sale. So, like, never pay full price for anything. Like, if they stop doing a sale, they'll start doing another sale, like, 2 days later. Wait. That one. Yes. Linux Master Race literally just chilled on the by the way meme. Wait, what? I think it cost like $50 or something to get my entire thing set up. It's not custom, but like it works enough. I actually just installed Debian. Screen tearing is killing the experience. I need to really deal with my screen tearing issues. Oh yeah. One thing I do want to talk about, and I want to sort of get your guys' opinion on it, is this right here. So, my voice just cracked. What the... Am I, like, 16 again? So, there's a lot of, like, hardcore techie guys who are saying, people are going to buy the Steam Deck, and they're going to just install Windows on it. And... while I understand, like, there's going to be people who actually go and do that. I know Chris Titus has said this exact same thing. That people are going to install Windows on. I think a lot of people are sort of really overestimating how much people actually consider what their computer is actually running. I really find it hard to believe. I kind of like this video of LTT. Oh, no, it's probably a good video. And people are going to, like, install Windows on it. Anthony's a great host. Like, I'm not criticizing Anthony here whatsoever. I think a lot of people are really overestimating, like, how much people are going to treat the Steam Deck like a computer. And how much people are actually even considering that, like, installing operating systems is even a thing. Like, I know a lot of people who... I know a lot of people who have computers. I know, what a weird thing. I know a lot of just, like, normies who don't even know what operating system they're running. Like, they'll say, oh, I'm running Windows. If you ask them what version of Windows, they'll have no idea. And it's sort of like the Switch. How many people do you know that own a Switch that have jailbroken the Switch? My answer's probably going to be not many. Normies don't install operating systems, exactly. Actually, let's go actually have a look at Chris's video. I watched the intro of it, and then I wanted to talk about it later. Jesus Christ, Chris uploads more videos than I do. Wait, was it an older video? Oh, it might be on his second channel. Right, he has 2 channels that he uploads to. This dude makes more videos than I do. I have a lot of respect for how much work Chris does. Even if you don't like his content, Chris Titus, yeah, he definitely makes a lot of videos, if nothing else. No, we're not watching this ad. Yo, what's up? Get triggered. I'm gonna start a channel called Papa Woad. I'd agree. Most people buying a Steam Deck would just see it as a handheld console. That's where I'm sort of leaning to as well. Like, my idea is that if the Steam Deck works flawlessly, and that's sort of what Valve is going for. Like, I've heard mumblings that Valve wants to make Proton basically a seamless translation layer. Basically like running Windows, everything just magically works. And I can't imagine they've just started, like, working on this problem. They will have been working on this for years and years and years. And I find it hard to believe they don't have Proton updates they haven't pushed out yet. And I am very excited to see what actually happens with Proton come December. Is that when the Steam Deck's supposed to drop? I could be wrong on the date, but I'm pretty sure it's December. Anyway, let's have a look at our boy, Mr. Chris Titus Tech. Let's see what he has to say about the Steam Deck. He uploaded this video called "Where the Steam Deck Will Fail." This was from a couple of days ago. So let's find out what Mr. Titus Tech Talk has to say.
The Steam Deck, an amazing piece of hardware coming out towards the end of this year, but it's gonna fail in certain spots.
Even if 70% of the games work through Proton, only around 40% are flawless. That's where I'm sort of getting the idea that Valve has updates they haven't pushed through yet. Like, they are working on anti-cheat. That is coming. Whether it comes on launch day is another question, and I think it needs to be there on launch day. I think what they have to do is they need to make sure that Proton is basically flawless on launch day. And if it isn't flawless, I really hope they delay the product. Because if it is not flawless and it requires you, like, fiddling around with Proton versions, trying out like Glorious Egg Roll and stuff, I think it's going to fail. But let's see what Chris has to say.
That, I guess, nobody even sees, or maybe they just don't want to say anything.
Let's get past this intro.
Then it crashed. Never happened. And I want to go over the good that has never been done before. That is, most people will be still going to fail in the biggest area. And that is, most people will be wiping out Linux on it and installing Windows. And I'll tell you why. So first off, it is an amazing price point for this piece of hardware, starting at $400. I actually went ahead, got mine reserved right here.
The $400 price point, I've seen a lot of people actually complaining about this. The $400 for the 64 gig model might seem like a lot of money, but Linus Tech Tips during their WAN show they did last week sort of broke this down to, like, in a really good way. $400 for a full-fledged PC is like Chromebook price range, and you're getting a GPU that can reasonably handle AAA games. You're not going to play everything perfectly, but judging by, like, what it actually comes with, this thing is going to be a very capable gaming machine. I wonder if the leadership at Valve is intimately familiar with the limitations of the technology of Proton. Presumably. I would hope so. I would hope that they know what they're doing and not just, like, throwing shit to the breeze and just seeing... Wait, that's not how... Throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. That's how that metaphor works. Yeah. Steam dual booting? I find that even less likely than, like, once again, techies are going to do it, but I find that even less likely than people just wiping Linux and installing Windows on it. Steam probably says you can install Windows because of the EA, Epic, or Blizzard being too lazy to support Proton. I I know that Ubisoft has said they are considering bringing support to the Steam Deck if it actually does well. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I find it hard to believe that if the Steam Deck does, like if it does, like, let's say, a couple million sales, let's just pull a number out of thin air. If it does that well, I find it really, really hard to believe that the other game companies won't step up and try to support it. Weird prediction, not really a good use case, in my honest opinion. The tech is willing to install Windows, just kind of... Oh, okay, right, replying to something else. I would say that the smaller screen size plays into an advantage of not needing as high of detail. Yeah, that's also... That's another thing, yeah. Yeah, that's another good thing. I'll get to the Chris video in just a moment. So because this is a 7-inch screen, this is a 7-inch... 720p screen. I guess it's 16 by 10, so 800p, whatever you want to call it. FSR, the new AMD upscaler, yep, that's going to be, like, really, really crazy on this device. Like, the upscaling isn't great if you're using, like, a monitor, like a 24 and 27, anything like that. But on a 7-inch screen, FSR is going to be absolutely insane. And this is, like, napkin math numbers, but I recommend going and checking out... There's a video from Clicks Phillip on one of his channels. I think it's on his second channel. Speaking of people who make too many videos. No, we're not watching this ad. FSR has problems even on 1080p. Absolutely it does. But okay. This is a 6-inch phone. There we go. Like, that's tiny. Like, up against my head, that's absolutely... Ignore the fingerprints. This is tiny. I think that you can get away with having fairly low detail on a device like this. Okay, so here are the magical napkin math numbers that this guy came up with. Going based on similarly spec'd hardware, sort of extrapolating out, like, how it should perform. And theoretically, if these numbers even slightly play out, you should be able to push something... You should be able to push, like, some pretty good gameplay out of this device. What if companies making sure their launches only run on Steam Deck and give out cease and desist letter to people who enable their launches outside of the deck? There's no way they could really do that, because the Steam Deck is just running Arch. So, like, if the binary is available on Arch, it's going to be available on Arch. You can just... Yeah. Like, they can try, but... Like, you can't stop people taking their binaries... Like, taking the binary off of, like, a system it's already on. That's just not a thing that you can do. Especially when the system's completely open. It's because you have a huge Aussie head. That's true, I do have a huge Aussie head. I have, like, a really big forehead, but, like, apart from that, I don't think the average person is willing to spend $100 on Windows, nor sign up on a sketchy key reselling site. Imagine paying for a Windows license. I'm not endorsing pirating Windows, but, like, Microsoft doesn't care. So, like, they make money from stealing your data. Temple OS on the Steam Deck. If you can get it working, that would be funny. Even Valve said it was open on purpose. Yeah. If they bring their launches to the Steam Deck, they've brought their launches to Linux. There's no way they could really do that. Itch have confirmed their store will be supported on the deck, but that's a Linux-friendly store to begin with. Well, yeah, Itch has got, like, a lot of Linux titles in the first place, so I would find it really strange that they wouldn't. And being such, like, a indie-focused store, it would be really strange to not help out indie devs like that. Epic and EA, I find harder to believe. EA isn't going to be supported until BattlEye and EAC work flawlessly. There's no reason for EA even to bring their stuff over because of how much of a mess that actually is going to be. It's a full PC, do whatever you want. Basically, it's a full PC with a controller attached to it. I think that was what they said in the IGN what's the word? Hands-on. Oh yeah, the IGN hands-on is an absolute mess, by the way. Yo, Pizza Lover Nerd, how you doing, man? Haven't seen you in a while. Anyway, let's go back to Chris, see what he has to say. People want to forcefully install Windows and put Windows key and want to suffer more just because they want Windows is hilarious to me, more like masochist to me. Yeah, as I said, I don't think people are going to treat this like a PC. I think people are going to treat this like a handheld console. Especially because of, like, the form factor it's in. Like, it's got a controller attached to it. Someone will. Someone's going to, like, do some dumb shit with it. Absolutely. No doubt about that. I want to buy it and do some dumb shit with it. But normal people who are not hardcore Linux guys, is it just me, or has DT been making crap recently? Well, have you seen, wait, speaking of DT, have you seen, like, how he's color graded his videos that look like an Instagram filter? It's actually beautiful. Anyway, Chris, yes.
I just got the mid-grade model because that's the quickest I could have gotten it for about $530 for this type of hardware, which is great. Looking at the hardware itself and the feature set, I love the layout. I love the touchpads. I like...
What do you think about the joystick position? Actually, let's get a picture of it from the...
wait, grip buttons on the back. Everyone's talked about that, how good this is. And I even watched some IGN...
Yeah, here we go. Up a bit ahead. Here we go. So for anyone who hasn't seen the Steam Deck, any of, like, the 3 people who have no idea what it looks like, it's got the... it's got its thumbsticks in the same location as the Wii U Gamepad, which I personally had never held. Wii U Gamepad. Here it is. Don't bully me for using Google. Anyway. So we've got, like, these sticks up the top here. I think this is a much more ergonomic form factor than the gamepad had. The gamepad's like this really weird... I don't know, it feels a bit too bulky. Apparently it's really comfortable for the people who've used it. It just doesn't look comfortable in... It doesn't look comfortable to me. Anyway, I've sort of gotten used to, like, different controller layouts. So, I've got a PS4 control here. We've all seen a PS4 control. I've got a... I've also got a Xbox Series X controller. I sort of just, like, adapt to new controllers fairly easily. I don't have tiny hands. I'll be able to hold it, like, perfectly fine. Ultimately, the only way I can really tell, like, how comfortable it's going to be is actually properly holding one. The one concern is if you have small hands. They haven't really demonstrated what it would look like if, say, like, you know, a child tried to hold this thing. I feel like it might end up being a little bit uncomfortable for, like, for people, either children or women with small hands, or I guess if you're like a manlet dude, you're like 5 foot tall or something. If you have tiny hands, I'm concerned. But for anyone else, it looks like it will be comfortable. Ultimately, though, like, you can plug a controller into it, so I don't know. I like DualShock 3 style. I feel like the DualShock 3 isn't bad. Like, the DualShock 3 is basically like a less... Yeah, it's a less complicated version of the DualShock 4. I think I would prefer... Now that I've used, like, the Xbox controller for so long, like, I mainly use this. I think Microsoft knows how to make a controller. That is one of the things that Microsoft is basically better than anyone else at. Minus their D-pad. I still like the DualShock D-pad. But Sony has a patent on that. How could Steam do all this work and put the Type-C connector on top? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a great one. I genuinely don't know. I genuinely don't know why there's a Type-C on the top. That is actually really dumb. It's like, I think it's in the center here. So if you have a cable plugged into it, actually, basically it would be like this. It would be like this, except the thing already weighs like almost a kilo, so it would like be kind of hard to hold, especially if you have a short cable that's might snag on stuff. I think that, yeah, it probably should have been down here. I presume there is a design reason why it's there. And maybe there's an ergonomic reason as well. It just doesn't look like it makes sense. I prefer Type-C on top. I had lying down on my bed with the Switch and it snags down. I think it's gonna depend on how it feels in the hand. If it is well balanced, I don't think it's going to matter as much. If it's not, it's going to be a really annoying thing to hold. I also do like the they've got like the Pro style buttons on the back. I've never personally used those, but that should help out with the people that do have smaller hands. Like, you could still use the thumbsticks then, but then use the buttons on the back rather than trying to reach over to the buttons over here. I doubt I'll ever use this on a dock, just use my PC. Yeah, that's sort of how it's going to be for me. If I get one, I'm going to treat it fully as a handheld console and nothing else. Like, I've got to, if I want to sit down and play on my PC, like, you guys are seeing me on the PC right now, so like, I'm just going to use that. But I don't know how much the dock is going to cost. I know there's going to be like an official dock, but like, why? Well, you don't need it. It's just USB-C. Everything on us Asians is small, including but not limited to our hands. As I said, I wonder how it's actually going to go in someone that actually has small hands. We're gonna have to wait until there's like, until there's more independent reviews. I've said it before, don't pre-order stuff. I know you want this thing to like do well, but don't pre-order it. Wait until it's out publicly. Wait until there's like reviews of it, and then buy it. Imagine the ultimate Chad kid that convinces their parents to get this for schoolwork. Well, if you convince your parents it's actually a PC, this costs about as much as a Chromebook. So, you know, maybe maybe you could. Like, the 64 gig version has as much storage as a Chromebook and costs as much as a Chromebook and has a GPU in it. I'm paying for half. The other half is my Christmas present. Fair enough. Parents will forget one important thing for a laptop. No. That's a good point. Okay, yeah, I didn't think of that. Yeah, webcam is actually really important right now because everyone's still doing online schooling. Okay, maybe that's going to be a bit difficult. You're still talking about that Game Boy. I am absolutely still talking about that Game Boy. Anyway, Chris had other things to say.
You can see it's fluid. It is really, really nice.
I like how he's talking about the the pre-rendered video as if it's like actual. Oh, it says it's actual gameplay, but like, is it actual gameplay? Is it maybe it's actual gameplay, but not actual footage? This is not like a demo of how well it actually works. This is not a demo. That's just a marketing material.
Going through, so the micro SD portion, I don't recommend ever playing games on the micro SD. I think the maximum throughput you can get on these is about 90 megabytes.
Here's another thing. Okay, here's another really dumb point I've seen people keep bringing up. That you can't game on a micro SD. I would like to tell you about this device known as a Nintendo Switch, which has eMMC storage and a micro SD card. Like, you can game perfectly fine on a micro SD. It's just gonna take a long ass time to load anything, but you can play fine. Like, it's not gonna be a real issue there. Once everything's loaded into memory, you'll be good.
Gigabytes per second. So I'm curious to see how they're gonna promote that because
I mean, the Switch doesn't load as high-res textures. Well, you're going to be playing at 720p anyway.
Gaming on a SD card is just not a good experience. Maybe retro gaming's okay, or maybe
like you're going to be playing probably at like medium-high settings at 720p.
Older games would be all right, but any kind of modern AAA title on an SD card will be terrible. That's one criticism I have, but that's really nothing compared to what I think's really going to...
It'll be terrible compared to a... I will definitely get to Audacity. It'll be terrible relative to an NVMe drive, but I think compared to like a mechanical hard drive, it's not going to be that bad.
Sync it. Coming back through down here, I'll probably be using the dock, and I don't even know if they show it on the go. Fields. I said it was great hardware.
Okay.
Why I said that was Zen 2 is kind of old. Came out in 2000, kind of used, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, another thing. People keep talking about how the CPU is old. That like that matters. So the CPU is a Zen 2 CPU. The APU is RDNA 2. Here, the thing with this device is that CPU isn't going to be the bottleneck. Like the CPU, you can play games perfectly fine on a on like a Sandy Bridge CPU, like a 2nd gen Intel, especially with the GPU this thing has. Like the CPU isn't going to be a bottleneck on any games you want to play, unless you're trying to play like, I don't know, Civ 6 on this, I guess. That's the only time the CPU is actually going to be a bottleneck. So I don't think the CPU being a Zen 2 CPU really matters at the end of the day. Like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not knowing, like, some certain use case, but, like, I don't think that that's really that big of a deal.
Because these APUs aren't even really what Steam's getting. They're getting RDNA 2 on the graphics, which...
yeah, we know about RDNA 2, yep.
The RDNA 2...
Doesn't Nintendo force game devs to slim down the size of the games made, though? They do, because they actually have to be installed in a handheld. So there is some concern that will be there. I think that some people are really overblowing, like, how big of a problem it's going to be. Like, you can play games perfectly fine on, like, a 5400 RPM hard drive. It's gonna take forever to load stuff. Like, you'll have, like, 12-minute, maybe even, like, 15, 20-minute load times if you play Skyrim. But, like, you can play games.
Architecture. And
I was talking about the GPU
amazing game. And why we'll open up a 10 here, because all these...
Oh, here we go, here we go.
Here's libraries, so don't pay attention to the top 10 here, because all these are easy anti-cheat games. Destiny 2 actually technically works on Linux. It's just basically locked down in the Stadia environment. But all these others are just easy.
Oh, that's another thing. There's a lot of games out there, like a lot of AAA games that actually have native Linux binaries because they're available on Stadia. But these and Stadia runs Debian. So there's actually no reason why every single game running on a Stadia that isn't already available to like the public as a native game couldn't already be like available right now. It's just that they just didn't. It's because Google has like really fat stacks and is willing to pay them for it. I think that for Gen 2 CPU is crucial, but yeah, no one's running Gen 2 on this. Of course, Gen 2... Yeah, of course CPU is crucial for Gen 2. If you want to run Gen 2 on this, I guess you could. It's just regular hardware. I wouldn't recommend it. Yo, how you doing? It's always the money. Yes, exactly. It's always the money.
Anti-cheat games that actually be solved by the time the Steam...
Yeah, no,
will
EAC.
Not get solved by that.
I'm planning to run Gen 2 on the Steam Deck. I go right ahead. That's fine. I hope this is the start of smaller game. Modern Warfare requires 175 gig. It requires 175 gig out of the box. Don't forget about the extra stuff to add on to that. Yeah, I'll get to Audacity in a moment.
Spoil their control. Uplay is a terrible love.
I want to see why he says that people can install install Windows on it.
Well, Uplay itself sometimes crashes, gets a little buggy. I think this is going to be a little bit of a stopping point. And EA Origin is another one that is really kind of waffling back and forth.
I doubt Gen 2 will be that bad on it. Has a really good CPU, all things considered. Well, yeah, there's people who are running Gen 2 on a ThinkPad, so, like, it's going to be better than that.
Forth a lot, because you had a lot of titles released on that, such as, like, Star Wars Old Republic and some other ones that are still, I think, using the Origin launcher a little bit. I know Star Wars Old Republic has its own. Really, those two are possibilities. They just have tons of problems right now, even with a lot of these titles are not perfect, and it's not a great experience when you have it goes. You can see EA Play is coming to here, and this is kind of a good thing back at Steam. It's great, but there's the Steam, and if anything, a lot of the existing game library might get pulled from Steam if this happens. And of course, I'm talking about the infamous Bethesda.
So his argument is basically focusing around the fact that everyone is going to make their own game launchers, which totally won't come to Linux if the Steam Deck does well. Definitely won't. They definitely won't want to cash in on the Steam Deck being a success if it is a success. Definitely not, no. But then again, Activision treats their employees... Yeah, and Activision has some, like, questionable ways of treating their employees. Wait, we already established you're not a real gamer because you use affiliate links. Talk about something interesting. What is that supposed to mean? I think the largest hurdle would be around anti-cheat software. Absolutely. But as Valve has said, they're aiming to get that working. What that means and how well it's going to work is another question. I hope it works like... I just hope that if I click a game, it has easy anti-cheat, it just plays. And it's just fine. That's my hope. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it, but Valve has the money to get that done.
Launcher. Most of these games play like complete poo on Linux. And it's mainly because of Bethesda Launcher. Nay. It is because of Bethesda Launcher. And
they're selling this to normies. They have to do that. We have to do what? They have to do what specifically? I must have missed something.
I'd love to see almost every one of these games hit Steam, and for most part, that could be a cat. A lot of Bethesda stuff. They care about dominance. Even though gamers will literally revolt, they'll still do it.
Gamers, will you literally revolt? Tell me, are you going to literally revolt?
And I worry about that. That's one thing I really worry about. There's all these different kinds of launchers, and then the wild card in all this, of course, is...
I have to make the work get... They have to make the games work with ESC, otherwise no one will consider it to be a scam. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, as I said, it needs... If it's not working, the device fails on day one. They need it there. If it's not working, delay the device. Everyone's gonna be like, oh, the device got delayed. But it will work... It'll be such a better launch if it gets delayed if it's not working perfectly.
Old Epic Games. What are they going to do with this? Launchers I've covered in the past, Legend, that open source. Epic doesn't want to do anything to help Steam out. And it's going
to... Okay, yeah, Chris is actually just, like, misinformed here. Let's talk about Audacity. The thing with... He brought up Epic and not wanting to work with Steam. Tim Sweeney has literally said that he thinks the Steam device is a good console. Like, if this Steam Deck goes well, the Epic launcher will be on Linux. I guarantee it. There's no way that Epic Games, the company that is, like, taking Apple to court over not having open stores, isn't going to put their store onto Linux if the Steam Deck does well. What window manager are you using right now? I am using Awesome WM. What is your favorite programming language? It is Python. Doesn't Chris just play games on Windows for a while now? Probably. He's using Rat Poison. Yeah, I'm using Rat Poison. Anyway, Audacity. So, did you guys? I don't know if you guys have looked at the the GitHub recently, but 2 days ago, they posted something here. What's Linux? About 500k a quarter, pack the tar. Is that clock you mean on... No, it means it is 10 a.m. Well, I've definitely not been online for 10 hours. I'm not that crazy. So, here we go. We got two things in here. So there's a new moderation policy, which actually makes sense. I actually didn't read this one. Audacity, yeah, no, not using it. Yeah, fair enough. We're initiating a moderation policy on this GitHub page, which we will be revising regularly. To keep it simple, our general approach is to avoid deleting comments, critical or otherwise, unless we feel that it can be described as harassment or spam. That's fair enough. Like, I know someone's going to complain about that, but that's fair enough. I'm surprised people haven't actually commented on this one. Usually things like this actually get commented on, like, really quickly. With that in mind, we may choose to delete comments when they introduce issues not relevant to the discussion at hand. For example, an issue that cannot be addressed or resolved by anyone on the Audacity team. Fair enough. When they include very foul language intended to directly hurt someone. Okay, yeah, fair enough. And spam of various stripes that we are all familiar with. This is a very, we will delete anything that we don't like sort of addition to their their moderation policy. This right here is basically so they can justifiably delete anything they want from their GitHub, which is well within their right. They're free to do so if they want to. But hey, if you think that you're going to be able to have certain discussions on their GitHub and they're not going to delete it, well, maybe not. I'm no longer using Audacity, and it's just a fact. I'm not using some spyware BS. But this isn't the interesting one. This is about them just wanting to, like, make sure that the Sneedacity guys don't come over and just, like, act like a bunch of assholes, doing dumb shit. Anyway, this is the fun one. Update to our privacy policy and apology. This is the fun one I wanted to talk about. You're using YouTube, you donut? Oh, you mean about spyware thing? I'll just use Kden Live thing, convert it back to MP3 if I just want to cut the audio. Just use FFmpeg. Why not? Today we're introducing a revised privacy policy to address the concerns raised with the previous privacy policy published earlier in July. The original policy, which was drafted in anticipation of the release of Audacity 3.0.3, received a large amount of media attention due to the inclusion of a few provisions that appeared to some to violate promises we had previously made. Appeared? You mean literally did? Like, we will collect information for law enforcement. But sure, okay, we can dodge blame right here. We apologize that we are the best, not apologizing to 13-year-old or younger. No, they actually do bring that up. They do definitely bring that up later in the apology. But let's have a look. We want to address the issues that were raised, give assurances about our intentions, and provide verifiable proof of what information is actually sent from Audacity. The new privacy policy uses clearer language that we hope will explain our intentions more accurately this time. We are deeply sorry for the significant lapse in communication caused by the original privacy policy document. Like, a lot of the problem that came here is the fact that they keep doing stuff without talking to the community. This is, like, the biggest problem they're having right now. They just keep doing shit without having any discussion. They don't even remotely understand how to, like, manage an open source project. Of course, if you bring in changes that nobody likes without talking about them, people are going to freak out. That's pretty much, like, that pretty much makes sense. Linus is live, great show. Oh, shit, is Linus live right now? I picked a terrible time to stream, didn't I? 2 days ago, so that was already revised 5 times, right? Probably. We'll have a look at this desktop policy in just a moment. Summary of main changes. Phrasing has been adjusted to remove ambiguity or aid in transparency In particular, that we do not collect any additional information for law enforcement or any other purposes. We have explained the purpose of the 2 networking features, error reporting and update checking. We have removed the provision that discourages children under 13 from using Audacity. Now, I will have to actually go and read the privacy policy just to make sure that they didn't just remove it for the sake of removing it. I think it was an impersonation. Telling people they will have CCP to help them is crazy. Wait, I'm not sure what you're getting at with that. We've taken steps to ensure that we never store a full IP address. We now truncate it before hashing or discard it entirely, and reflected this change in the privacy policy document. Once again, though, why are they storing it? Like, I don't understand why you need the IP address altogether. Like, obviously, there's no way to just, like, not get the IP address. You're interacting with a web server. Like, there's going to be, like, an IP address that is sent. But, like, why are you storing it at all? I don't understand. What are you doing? Data breach in 5432. Well, maybe. Very okay, no, that actually did just happen right now. We've made some changes to how we process error reports to ensure that we never store any potentially identifiable information. Maybe to know how many unique users they have? I guess so? I guess that could be the reason. Yeah, that's probably... Yeah, if we're gonna give them the absolute benefit of the doubt, I guess that could be the reason. They really do like to brag about how many numbers they have. Like, oh yeah, we've got like this many users and this many users and this many users. They really like to talk about numbers. I think, yeah, if we're gonna give them the absolute benefit of the doubt, that's probably going to be why. So they act like Audacity is their own, ignoring it being supposed to not be someone's own seems fair. Well, no, it is their own. They completely own it. They have the CLA. They own everyone's code. Anyone, like... So the thing with Audacity, I only found out recently, is this is sort of the case with a lot of code bases. The vast majority of the code base of Audacity is written by a handful of people. And a lot of those people actually work for Muse Group right now. A lot of those people who worked on Audacity are now getting paid by Muse Group. So yeah, that obviously is why, you know, they signed the CLA. But yeah, because of the CLA, you don't own, like, no one who's committed to the code base at this point really owns it. They're rewriting the stuff that's not covered by the CLA, and everything else, they can do whatever they want with it. Did you hear about the drama with the Audio City dev? Is that now Tenacity? If that's now Tenacity, then yes, I have. Anyway, unclear phrasing. We drafted the original privacy policy as a legal text. Sure, okay. We appreciate that for our community, as well as our users, much of phrasing... I like, guys, come on. If your update is going to be about unclear phrasing, please don't have a spelling mistake or a grammar mistake in here. Anyway, much of phrasing in the privacy policy produced more questions than answers. From now on, we'll provide context for changes we make to the policy in a user-friendly way. Part of the problem with the original privacy policy is terminology. Me fail English. I do fail English. Why is copyright so bad? Why does it still exist? Can copyright go away, please? I agree with you, but like, it exists, so like we sort of have to work with it. We have to make the best out of a bad world. Part of the problem with the original privacy policy is terminology. Oh, you mean the part where you basically were saying you would send information to governments? Yeah, that's very much part of the problem. There are terms we are legally required to use in order to ensure compliance with the GDPR and CCPA. The best example is the catch-all phrase, personal information, a non-specific term that understandably raised concerns for regular readers. While the term must still appear in the new privacy policy, we have tried to be a lot more specific about the actual information we were referring to wherever possible. Well, one of the original problems that was there with the old CLA is they listed data for government agencies as like a separate category of data. Like, that's why that was a problem. Not the fact that you said personal information. If you said personal information and then explained the data, that would have been fine. To provide an example, that's basically just explaining what personal data means. The most unclear and damaging part of the original document stated, we collect personal information necessary for law enforcement, litigation, and authorities' requests, if any. This wouldn't need to be here, like, at all, if you just didn't collect data. Like, just not collecting data would make this null and void. This was interpreted to mean that we intended to collect and store unspecified additional information on top of the basic system information mentioned elsewhere in the privacy policy. This is not true. Well, then you should not have phrased it like that, shouldn't you? As can be seen through inspection of the source code and network analysis of the release binaries, there isn't actually a release binary at this point that has the telemetry built into it. That's coming in the unreleased version, like, whenever that comes out. 3.0.3 isn't out yet, so you can't do a network analysis on those binaries. This has to end with WAV data being uploaded. Back, what is the tenacity drama? We'll get into that in just a bit afterwards, I guess, but we'll just keep going through this, see what else they have to say. This is not true, as could be seen. We read that. However, we agree that the wording used in the old privacy policy made it sound like it might be true. Well, the fact that you put it in your privacy policy meant that you did actually set yourselves up to be able to do that. Like, by putting that in your privacy policy, people using your application would basically be putting themselves in a situation where they are legally bound by that document, allowing you to actually do that. So, you can say that, like, it wasn't true, and that, like, you weren't going to be doing that. But the way the old privacy policy was worded did give you the ability to actually do that. We have now changed the wording to remove this source of confusion. You mean we were caught on it and we removed it. To be clear, any organization, if ordered by the court, is required to cooperate with an investigation, and doing otherwise is considered an obstruction of justice. Once again, you can't be ordered to share data that you didn't collect in the first place. So, yeah, if you just didn't collect data, yeah. These are not the rules we create. These are requirements we must follow. However, we would only be able to provide specific information mentioned in the privacy policy outlined below, and nothing more. In addition, the steps we have taken to anonymize all stored data means that it would be extremely limited use to anyone. End of the day, it's an audio editing program. Why collect any data other than crash reports? Because they like to brag to their shareholders about how many users they have. That's why. It is verifiably untrue that we hid the exact data being collected. As noted by journalists who investigated the issue, Audacity is free and open source software. Well, we can argue that it's free and open source software. It's certainly open source. Now, free and open source, with that CLA being there, I would argue that you can't call Audacity free and open source software at this point. Like, absolutely not. Well, thank goodness journos were investigating. I know, right? Journalists, the kings of network security. An inspection of its source code shows the data it shares is extremely limited. Once again, 3.0.3 is not out, so it doesn't matter what the source code shows, because the source code for that version doesn't exist yet. This was already the case at the time the original privacy policy was published, and has not changed since. As can be confirmed from the commit history. You just keep dodging whatever. Update checking. Okay. I don't care about the update checking thing. I know people freaked out about this one, but, like, it's update checking. So, yeah. You have to know what Audacity version someone's using. You have to know what operating system they're using. Like, I don't have anything to say about the update checking. I know some people didn't want it to be there in the first place and thought that, like, you know, maybe they mean free as in beer. You're onto something. It is still released as free software. You can do stuff RMS wants you to be able to do, so it's free. By that logic, I guess so, but, like, they don't have to care that GPL even exists. They can just ignore the license altogether. So, they can use it in ways that violate GPL. That's where I would argue that it's not free software anymore. But, hey, maybe I'm wrong about that. Besides the check for updates feature, the only other feature in the upcoming Audacity release that requires use of a network connection is error reporting. If an application error occurs, a pop-up appears asking you whether you want to send us the detail of what error. Do you think they will have ads in it to get their money back for the big purchase? I think that ads would be a little bit too ham-fisted. I think what they're more likely to do is release some sort of subscription model that allows them to, like, charge you for something. I don't know what it would be charging you for. Maybe plugins or something. Maybe they have, like, a plugin store. I don't know how they would do it, but there's going to be some way to do it. Themes, yeah, absolutely, themes. Can we talk about how Tanjiro is mega lurking right now? It's like 3 in the morning in London. I think Tanjiro might be asleep. I hope he's asleep. If you're not asleep, please say something in chat and stop being weird. If you are asleep, hey, I hope you check out the VOD. Yes, they do exist. However, they might have a plugin and theme store where, like, they make plugins and themes. Or maybe, yeah, I think that's possible. Or maybe they'll have some sort of, like, I don't know, maybe some web service where you can render audio online. Or maybe they'll have some web extensions that you can only use from their web store. Like, there will be some sort of subscription model that does exist, because that's already what exists over on the MuseScore side. How they managed to get it to work in Audacity is another question. Wow, I was close. 2021 and Audacity looked and feels crap. I give a pass. One thing, it would be funny if one thing they decide to do is put the source code behind a paywall. That would be funny. In terms of the data sent by Audacity, wait, no, I missed a step. We've taken additional steps on the server to ensure that all potentially identifiable information is filtered out of the report before storage. We were already filtering out file paths. Okay, they were. You literally never mentioned that publicly. But now we have configured our Sentry server to filter file paths from crash reports too. Fair enough. You do not store IP addresses for error reports. Okay, good. Good. Okay, that's as it should be. Dark mode will be paid. Yeah, I can see that. In terms of data sent by Audacity, we have only made one change since publication of the previous privacy policy. We have removed the ability for users to send a comment as part of an error report. What? Also, data sent by Audacity. You mean data sent to Audacity. Once again, this is about clearing up confusion, and it's full of grammatical mistakes. I love it. This is amazing. And the tools will be in the center where you can pay to put them back to normal. Oh, that would be really painful. I don't know why they removed this. Like, they say to stop users sending personal information. But, like, if you choose to send personal information back to Audacity, like, in this case, I think that's on you. Like, I don't think Audacity is in... I don't think anyone can really complain about... Like, if you send your home address and your social security number to Audacity, like, that's on you in this case. Like, yeah. I get why they removed it if they're trying to, like, you know, turn down the heat on themselves, but I don't think that's that big of a deal. There's no reliable way to filter out. With the rest of the report's technical data anonymized, the comments field was the last way that we might have obtained identifiable information. With the comments field gone, we were able to remove all references to sharing of personal information in the updated privacy policy. Because, okay, they wanted to fully remove it. Fair enough. Okay. Because after anonymization, which occurs more or less instantly as data arrives on the server, there is no personal information for us to share. I personally would have left this in, and then left an updated version of the privacy policy that mentioned that if you send a comment, that may contain personal information if you include it. Because you can put your personal data in a comment, and companies should process those according to law, especially from the EU. Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. GDPR is a mess, so... Yeah, it's a useful mess, but it's a mess. When you build Audacity from source code, all network features are excluded by default. Okay, good, as they should be. We expect Audacity builds available via Linux distributions to be network-free unless the maintainers of said packages specifically want to include networking features. I think the only distro that's going to enable this probably is, like, Ubuntu. Probably is Ubuntu. Everyone else is going to disable it, surely. Revision of age restrictions. So this is the other big one, where basically Audacity was not going to be able to be used in schooling. Like, it had a restriction where if you were under the age of 13, like, you just couldn't use the newer version. The old privacy policy contained a provision that discouraged children under 13 from using the program. I don't think it discouraged it. I think it outright said, do not use it. I guess that's discouraging, but... Yeah, I would have phrased that better. After extensive further consultation with our lawyers, we've determined that this provision is unnecessary. No one listens to age restrictions. Absolutely, but... if you are a school, you have to. Otherwise, you're going to be putting yourself in a situation where you're opening yourselves up to, like, a big lawsuit. Individual users wouldn't care, but, like, you can't use it in an education context if there is a big thing that says, do not use this if you're under the age of 13. Like, you just couldn't do that. Obviously, high school, you know, over the age of 13 is different, but I was using Audacity in primary school when I was, like, 10 or so. And that would have completely removed that ability to actually do so. After extensive further consultation with our lawyers, we have determined that this provision is unnecessary given the actual mechanics of data transmission and storage. The provision had been included out of an abundance of caution, but in the end turned out not to be required. We sincerely apologize for including this provision in the original privacy policy, and we are pleased to confirm that Audacity will remain freely available to users of all ages. Oh god, what the hell? We accept that the provision about under 13 was unnecessary, and we accept certain other clauses in the old privacy policy were worded in a way that begged for misinterpretation. Okay, yep, fair enough. Funny I can use Photoshop back when I was 11, but not Audacity if the age requirement was there. Hey, maybe you should go use GarageBand instead. GarageBand to do all your audio editing. Imagine being a minor on the internet and not lying about your age. I think I'm pretty sure I'm 120 on like most of my older accounts, because I was like set my age to 1900. Apple is spyware too. No, okay, here's the thing about Apple. Apple cares about your data privacy. The reason why Apple cares about your data privacy is because they know they can, like, throw this in Google's face, being like, see, we don't collect data. Because they don't. Apple, they'll collect very little things, but Apple cares about protecting your data because they can charge you exorbitant amounts of money to buy a phone every single year, and to buy a laptop every year, and to buy, like, Apple Watches every year. They don't need to collect your data. They sell you expensive shit to make up that money instead. GarageBand is the worst DAW I've ever used, and I've used FL, Ardor, Reaper, and Ableton as well as it. I remember using Audacity a lot back in high school. All the people in my my school had Macs. Go watch the video. Go watch the video by the channel, the hated one, that shows what they collect. I'll do that in just a moment. Apple is a honeypot for the CIA. That could very well be true. Apple is Apple is considerably more privacy friendly than Google is, and Windows, and Microsoft. If you care about your privacy, you should either be setting everything up yourself or buying Apple devices. If you have a wallet that literally never ends, if you like spending shitloads of money on computers, Apple's great. If you don't buy Apple. They only collection data when they have to, and they don't sell it. Yeah, that's the big thing about Apple. Apple doesn't sell your data because they don't have to. Because they can just, like... They can sell you stupid laptops every year. Like, do you need to buy a new MacBook Pro every single year? The answer is no. But, if you own an iPhone, an Apple Watch, iMac, and whatever other Apple stuff that exists. Maybe Apple can get you to start buying a new car every year by having the Apple car... What's the Apple car system called? I don't remember what it's called. Umpha is a great channel for Linux music creation. Absolutely. Please go subscribe to Umpha. Great channel. Apple gives Chinese... Okay, Apple gives Chinese user data to the CCP upon request. They don't care about users when they can profit from government corruption. The CCP is the very different one. If you don't cooperate with the CCP, you do not do business in China. And Apple wants to do business in China, so they can sell Chinese people MacBook Pros every year that they don't need. Stupid laptop. Have you ever touched a M1? Not, like, physically. Like, I haven't put my finger on the M1 chip. Like, maybe I should. Maybe I should go, like, caress the M1. That goes for any government, honestly. Right, but the CCP is an exception. The CCP is, like, peak exception here. If you do not cooperate with the CCP, you do not do business in China. Like, that's... Thing is, Apple holds the encryption keys and can give them to any government upon request. Yeah, that is true. I didn't say that Apple is, like, perfectly, what's the word? Perfectly safe. But, like, if you care about your privacy, they're not going to be selling it to people, and you're better off using Apple than using Google. If you really, as I said, if you really care about your privacy, this is a Linux channel. This is a Linux channel. Run Linux. Store it on your own machine. Never let shit leave your machine, and then you'll be good. Encryption keys only exist on your machine, and you'll be good to go. I only use Baidu for searching. I cooperate. If the Indian or EU government asks Apple to do something, what are they going to do? They're going to give the Indian or EU government a lot of money, and they're going to go away. You know, like, that's the way that most lawsuits get dealt with in Western countries. I guess India's not a Western country, but they're westernized. You just give them lots of money, and they stop talking to you. I'm surprised that, like, Apple hasn't made the Epic Games lawsuit go away by just, like, giving them lots of money. At the point a government is decoding your stuff, you might need to take a look at Whack Tattoo. Stop spreading fake news. Who's spreading fake news? Oh god, my chat broke. EU asks for some money compensation, like 1 to 2% of profit, and everyone is happy except users, of course. Yeah. You can pay off if you have the amount of money that a company like Apple or Microsoft has. You can make most problems go away. Not back in the 90s where Microsoft got sued by the US government. But now most lawmakers can be paid off pretty easily. DU is spreading fake news. Ah, yes. Brodie, your thoughts about NVIDIA RTX 3060 demo on ARM Arch running native ray tracing, and what does it translate into the future of RISC over x86? Jesus Christ, that was a lot to read. Your thoughts about NVIDIA RTX 3060 demo on ARM Arch native running ray tracing. Okay, the thing with RISC, I am hopeful for a RISC future. The problem is you need software support. And the way you get software support is by having users. So it's like a chicken or the egg sort of problem, where you need the software to get the users, and you need the users to get the software. This is going to take a while. I think that it's certainly cool, and there's going to be use cases where running RISC does make sense. I don't know how long or if ever we're going to see RISC as like the dominant desktop architecture. I think it would be cool. I certainly do think it would be cool, and one day hey, if we're running RISC CPUs, that would be pretty swell. I think the main way we're going to go RISC is the thing that you guys don't want to see happen, which is that everything's going to turn into a web app. And that's sort of already happening. Where most companies are starting to release their apps as web apps, because a lot of people are using things like Chromebooks now, and they're working from phones and from tablets. And those devices obviously have like different architectures on them. So if you have everything running in your web browser instead, where you basically have your web browser being the consistent architecture to target, it doesn't matter what you're running underneath that. I don't like that, but I think that's the easiest way for the RISC future to happen. And I think that regardless of what you want, that future is coming anyway. I want to see what Apple manages to do with M1 and then with M1 in the future, because what Apple usually does is Apple doesn't make anything. Apple doesn't create ideas. What Apple does is they take existing ideas and then they set a trend. Like Apple get rid of the headphone jack. Everyone else gets rid of it. Apple has like these hole punch displays. Everyone else starts doing it. Apple, basically Apple just they do something and everyone else starts to basically copy them. I think that if Apple keeps pushing the M1 route, I think you might start to see some more desktop traction of ARM and of RISC CPUs. The only company who is allergic to Linux is Adobe. I bet they use Windows Server. Wait, I want to show you something funny. Here's some funny news that you might not have heard about. Adobe joins the Blender Development Fund. Windows user telling me that Windows 11 is going to kill Linux because of the Android app support, the new look and feel, and because Linux doesn't have app support. I don't know who's going to run the Android apps on their phone. Please watch the video about a hated one about Apple Data Collection. I will do that in just a moment. First, I want to talk about this one because it's funny. Today, Adobe announced they will join the Blender Foundation's Development Fund as a corporate gold member. We're going to find out how much a corporate gold member is in just a moment. Contributions from corporate members directly support core Blender development for generally approved projects on blender.org. We are thrilled Adobe is joining the Blender Development Fund to help ensure the longevity and success of this dynamic open source community, said, I guess that's Sebastian? Sebastian Deguy, VP of 3D and Immersive. 3D and Immersive? Sure, okay, Adobe. What a stupid title that is. 3D and Immersive at Adobe. We're excited to help strengthen and improve this accessible suite of tools. I don't know who run Android apps on their phone. I barely run any apps. Ain't Windows 11 Android support just lib Houdini? I don't know what that is. How much? Let's find out how much a Blender Gold corporate member is. Blender Gold Blender Corporate Gold Development Fund. They've got it here. So that is 30,000. What is it? I'm dumb. What is that currency? That's a euro, isn't it? Yeah. 30,000 euros a year. Woo! That's not that much if you're Adobe. But hey, that's still a lot of money. That's still a lot of money. Adobe actually can't port Photoshop to Linux because it depends on something from Internet Explorer. Yes, you guys heard me correctly. Internet Explorer. What if I told you that, like, you can get it working on Linux? Also, Adobe's going to make a web app. They're going to. Give them time. Blender is also another good audio editor. Blender is a everything. Euro looks like a capital E. It's Euro. Fair enough. Did you guys know that Chrome destroys the performance of Macs? Speaking of destroying performance, I want to show you something funny. Oh, right. Fun fact, Euro money is written with Euro on the right side like all other units. Huh. So they just don't know how to label it. Okay, sure. Let's have a look. The hated one rings a bell. The hated one, Apple. No, I don't want to watch your damn ads. What is an ad for? It's an ad for a... Oh, it's an ad for a case. Did you know that Chrome destroys performance? That is true. Well, that's why we're running Brave, isn't it? Greetings to all supporters of the best OS architecture. Offers card... Why do they hate him, though? Oh, it's a good question. Let's find out.
All your eggs into one basket. If you want a simple privacy advice, that would be one. Don't trust a single company with your data. In fact, you should completely abandon the concept of trust. If your data is collected, you lose control over it. Centralizing your digital presence within a single ecosystem of apps is the biggest mistake you can make in the internet age.
Okay, I don't disagree with anything he said so far. Yeah.
There's a simple notion that encapsulates this issue perfectly. There is no cloud, only other people's computers. Apple is trying to convince you that they are different, that unlike the rest of the big tech, they don't monetize your data and they don't traffic in your private life. And they have a business model to prove this. All of this is a lie. Apple collects every piece of data they are capable of collecting, including your location, IP address, browsing records, search history, app data, usage behavior, purchasing records, contacts, viewing, listening, and reading habits, phone, messaging, and email metadata, and that's just scratching the surface. Not only do
Search is Chrome killing your MacBook from Rennie Rich. Love your channel, man. Keep it up. Thank you. Thank you, Lizardoid. That's a cool name. I like it. Multi-billion tech companies hate this one. Oh, they definitely do.
They share your data with countless of third parties, but Apple monetizes your information by tracking and targeting you with ads. Apple is far from being a privacy alternative. They are not better than the rest of the big tech, and their business model is not about protecting your data, it's about increasing the shareholder value. That's the sole social responsibility of Apple as a publicly traded corporation. You may want to choose an iPhone or a Mac instead of other platforms for whatever reason, but privacy should not be one of them. There is no better proof of Apple's real values and conduct than their privacy policy. This video is a part of a longer series uncovering Apple's wrong.
Okay, I don't care about your intro.
This is the and join my Patreon. Crypto wallets are also in the material, where Apple gets to portray their products as privacy alternatives. This is a
M1 is Big Little, not fully ARM. Yes. Big Little is actually becoming more popular on the desktop as well. That is one thing that I do really like that Apple did push forward.
Disingenuous trend among the big tech companies, where they can deceive the public seeking more information about their practice.
This video was eye-opening. Up until now, I thought Apple is a charity.
This is not a legal document, yet Apple often links to this page when referring to their privacy policy. If you want to find Apple's real privacy policy, you'd have to go to apple.com/legal/privacy. This deception is unacceptable and needs to be called out. Even if you
Is that deception?
The entire policy, you still wouldn't get the whole scope of the data collection you're subjected to when using Apple products. For that, you'd have to find individual data policies of Apple's products and services and developer guidelines for app privacy.
Right.
None of these are easy to find for a general user, and they're often linked on subpage.
Big Little, is it different from Big Endian and Little Endian? Oh, okay, yeah, so... Yeah, good. So, Big Little, the idea of Big Little basically is that you have... So we all understand that a CPU has many cores. So rather than having all of those cores being like the same type of cores, so let's say you have, I don't know, a CPU with all of its cores that can run at, let's say 4 gigahertz. Let's just pick a round number like 4 gigahertz. Rather than having all of your cores that can run at that same speed, instead, have some of the cores that can run at, say, a maximum of maybe 1 or maybe 1.5. So the idea that you have here is that for general tasks, like let's say you're just sitting on your desktop, you don't need that CPU core that like can turbo up to 4 gigahertz. Like that's completely unnecessary. All you're doing is looking at a wallpaper, or let's say you're just like scrolling through a web browser, for example, or you're writing a Word document. You don't need those super powerful cores to be doing something like that. So instead of having all of your cores being these really powerful cores, let's instead have some smaller cores. So for those smaller tasks, you can use those and save a lot of power. And then when you need those extra cores, let's say you're playing a game, or you're streaming some video, or you're doing some 3D modeling. Those are the cases where you actually need those more powerful cores. So it gives you a lot of power saving that just wouldn't be possible with those more traditional CPUs. Imagine using KDE. CPU goes grrr. Yeah, exactly. CPU goes grrr. That's fun. Is it only for ARM and not for x86? No, there are x86 CPUs that are out right now that already use it. Or they're coming soon. Big Little X86. No, they might be coming soon. Yeah, AMD's going to be doing some Big Little stuff. Or they have done some Big Little stuff. I'll get back to it in just a moment. We got sidetracked by CPUs. But yeah, AMD has already got their CPU set up to allow them to very easily do this.
Privacy. None of these are easy to find for a general user, and they're often linked in subpages in no obvious order. Privacy labels in the App Store are not exhaustive, and the default Apple apps pre-installed on iOS devices are excluded. You can only find their privacy labels on a web page that lists them. Privacy labels are designed to give Apple products prominent standing because their data practices are defined as first party and do not constitute tracking according to Apple's definitions. For example,
yo, how you doing?
Apple says
a giant
they don't
pigeon.
share your personal data with third parties for their own marketing purposes. But this is a tricky statement. The definition of what constitutes personal or non-personal data is not clearly set in stone. In this case, Apple's advertising ID is considered non-personal, but it's what third-party developers have been using to track and target you with ads across the web and apps owned by other.
I just realized I've got this set to education for some reason. I'm gonna fix that. Okay, keep this
companies. You would consider an OS level identifier that can track your activity with ads to be pretty personal. For example, if you use Apple News, they may collect, use, transfer, or disclose your non-personal data for any purpose. Similar clauses are included in data policies of the Apple TV app, Apple Music, stocks, or the App Store.
Hope AMD joins the Big Little Shintel and will be. AMD has Big Little CPUs coming soon.
None of this means that your personal data is any safer. Apple shares your personal information.
Wait, no, sorry, I'm thinking of the next-gen Intel cores. Yeah, the next-gen Intel ones do. AMD still hasn't. Yeah, my bad.
Their partners, providers, or marketers for as long as they don't use it for their own marketing purposes. In their developer guidelines, Apple instructs third parties they should strip user data of direct identifiers or names and not relink their datasets with real-world identifiers. But how is Apple going to enforce data practices of third-party companies around the world? If you remember, Facebook once used to have this clause, and they failed spectacularly with the Cambridge Analytica scandal. This is the same problem, yet Apple pretends it's not an issue. It absolutely is. Even if third-party developers comply, they can still enrich their datasets somewhere completely outside of Apple's jurisdiction. Apple isn't the only party that has its third parties.
I don't know what to, I don't know what to say about this. I genuinely don't. Like, we're just sitting here watching this video at this point.
Or third parties. Apple allows third-party developers to collect your precise location information without disclosing it to you. Normally, developers would have to tell you, but there is a loophole. As long as they de-identify and coarsen your precise location before storing it, everything goes. According to Apple's definition, coarse location is anything with a lower resolution than
Apple is evil, now Facebook employees will be hungry, laid off, sad. Wait, what? Oh, right. Yeah, because Apple now lets you stop Facebook and Instagram from, or I guess apps in general, from collecting any information. So, Facebook and Instagram are very angry at Apple and are complaining that if we don't collect your user data, we might not be able to keep Facebook free. You might have to pay to use Facebook. Like, I love that Facebook's actually trying to bullshit. They're gonna put like a fee on using Facebook. Like, no, you're not. No, you're not gonna do that. Don't even pretend like you're going to. The second you do that, your company goes bankrupt. No one's gonna use Facebook if they have to pay for it. You're an absolute moron if you think you're gonna do that. But they know they can try to scare people into giving their data. Exactly. Facebook, they know people are never going to pay for it. Apple want to be the main supplier of your data, the end. But have you watched this video? I don't want to open that up without hiding my screen. Oh, it's a Mario meme. Oh, that's funny. That's big funny. Nobody would choose to use Facebook if they had to pay for any service. Facebook has to die. Well, they're going to do that by themselves. Brodie, have you watched Mother of the Goddess Dormitory? Yes. Yes, I have. First episode was very good. I made sure to watch the uncensored version as well. Have you watched Baby Shark? I have nieces and nephews that are very young. So yes, I have. Sadly. Let's see. Let's skip ahead a bit.
But these definitions identify databases are a pipe dream. The law only vaguely defines what is considered personally identifiable data, personal information, and non-personal information. But these definitions lag behind the technological capability and common expectations of privacy. And while Apple doesn't want third-party developers to enrich their databases, it reserves...
I just noticed this. What is up with this dude's eyebrows? Does he dye his eyebrows and not his hair? Like, why is his eyebrows black and not... This is weird. But if Facebook will be paid, how will I contact people over 35? I guess SMS? SMS is probably the easiest way. Facebook added immersive ads to Oculus VR recently. I know. Don't buy an Oculus. Just don't buy an Oculus anymore. Stop. I'll say I'm pretty tired of this YouTube memory leak from Firefox. Wait, is a YouTube memory leak from... What? Okay.
Reserves the right to do exactly that for itself. Apple combines their non-personal data collected by cookies, pixel tags, and other technologies with personal data they already hold. They're refusing to uphold the standards they set up for others. With the latest iOS 14 update, users will now have the choice to opt out of the advertising ID for all apps on their iPhones. This doesn't include Apple's own advertising platform, which doesn't serve you ads based on your advertising ID. It uses your Apple ID. This is an identifier that Apple users use to log into services like Immersive.
The only thing I miss when I quit Facebook is the shitpost group. I'm gonna miss Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Hell Facebook group. I literally have no idea what that is, but it sounds like fun.
Or iCloud. None of the third-party apps are allowed to use the Apple ID for advertising, but Apple can. And by this cleverly marketed ad ID permission request, Apple is giving its own ad network a preferential treatment over the ad networks of other companies like Facebook, Google, or Amazon. Opt out of Apple's ad network.
So, it's still better than what Google offers. So it's less data sharing. So I was right. Okay, moving on then. I use Safari. Sure you do. Do you think they will start an Apple book with a family subscription only $5.99? An Apple book? Apple book. What is what? I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. Like when I watch a live stream, something happens and I get really bad memory usage or something. That is really weird. I've never heard of that happening before. There's something else I was going to talk about. I forgot what it was though. Was it earlier in the chat? Maybe it was. Can I get a Brodie OS progress report? Yeah, sure, why not? Zero. No progress, because that's not a real thing. I can't wait for Apple to invent water. Mate, don't hate on the Apple water. Where's the Apple water bottle? I want the Apple water bottle. Where's my... Wait, a smart water bottle's a thing? Surely smart water bottles are a thing. Smart water bottle. That was a joke. That was a joke. That was a joke, but it's a real thing. Oh, there was this little app. Record your hydration journey. What is this? Rethink the way you stay hydrated. It's literally clear. The bottle is see-through. You can look at it and see how much water's in it. Notify. Set customized notifications on your device to remind you to hydrate. Have you considered, you know, understanding that you're a human being who knows when you're thirsty? Oh my god. Okay. Imagine giving money to LTT. LTT is good. I like LTT. I don't know what your problem is. LTT water bottle, best water bottle. I would buy a good water bottle, but I'd lose them. So instead, I have this pump water bottle that costs $3. It glows. Oh, it's a it's a glowy. A glowing flash reminder helps you prompt to stay hydrated. Okay, right. I want to quiz the chat, right? How many people in here forget to drink water? Is there a single person in this chat right now that forgets to drink water? Let me know. I really want to know. Imagine getting your home network hacked through a water bottle. You deserve it if you own one of these, to be honest. You absolutely deserve it. Never? Me? Of course. Okay, but you're a whale, so that's different. I tried to buy a sponsorship from LTT once and never responded. You really didn't have enough money for them. As a millennial, I can only apologize for the smart things. If I didn't have a water bottle next to my PC, I would. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. That's why I leave mine on my desk. Otherwise, yeah. And I like to fiddle with things. So, like, when I go to fiddle with something, it's usually the water bottle. I only drink water from Chernobyl. Jesus Christ. Yo, Bedrock, how you doing? We're looking at smart water bottles. Set hydration goal, drink events, and learn how you are tracking. Set a goal for how much water you want to drink today. Oh my god, okay. Drink enough water to stay hydrated. This is not like going for a run. You don't need to hit your 10,000 steps. Just drink water when you're thirsty. Review. Track your weekly hydration and see your week-to-week achievements. Oh, also, this being a glass water bottle, that thing is going to shatter the second you drop it. I have owned a glass water bottle before, and I went running with it once, and I tripped, and it broke. Do not buy glass water bottles. They are stupid. They are a scam. Unless this is plastic and it just looks like glass. If that's plastic, okay, I'll take back what I said. Doesn't say. that lid. Water bottle pog. Oh my god. How much? Okay, how much is the pog water bottle? Oh, I thought it was a spelling mistake. You know, that's the name of their company. $50. $50. I expected worse. Oh. Wait. Wait, what? Wait. Wait, hold up a second. Hold up a second. How is this Linux news? It's not, but I want to talk about this anyway. $49 for the bottle only, and then the Bluetooth module and the smart app is optional and an extra $42? What? Wait, what? Why would you buy the bottle only? That is the jankiest construction I've ever seen. Like, look at that. Like, the plastic isn't... Like, this is a product photo. How could you not clean up the plastic for this? Like, you can see where, like, they screwed it up. Like, this isn't even clean. What is this photo? Good enough there's an Amazon listing. There probably is. What? Like, this... Did they take this, like, photo on, like... on a phone from like 7 years ago? What is this? That is such a bad photo. This is for the smash the capitalism millennials. If you just put smash capitalism on something, it's the best way to make money. $49 for a bottle, $20 lid opening for drink. I want to show you something else really dumb. So, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but Muda did a video on this, this recently. So, Amazon made an MMO. I don't care about the fact they made an MMO, but, this part right here. Playing this game, has been bricking some people's RTX 3090s. Now, in case you live under a rock and you don't know how much a 3090, it is a plastic bottle? Okay, fair enough. And you don't know how much a 3090 costs? It's a lot of money. Like, a lot of money. Like second-hand car kinds of money. So what seems to be happening with this game is, it's running at an uncapped frame rate, or at least it was previously. And it's hitting your GPU thermal and wattage limits, and for whatever reason, it's not engaging the safeties, and it's just killing the card. It might crash it the first time, then after that one, it will just like pop the GPU, which is beautiful. Thank you for Amazon. Thank you Amazon for bricking shitty overpriced bricks of silicon. Also, what? Oh, is a 3090 a very expensive water bottle? Once it bricks, I guess you could turn it into a water bottle. The reason the game breaks GPU doesn't. Yeah, that seems to be the current theory. No, it also happens on other cards. So, Jay's 2 cents posted about it. He's had a couple of people come to him about it. Yeah, it's 1700 USD. Is that the scalper price, or is that like MSRP price? So it's not a problem with just the just the 3090. It's also been bricking all of these cards as well. Like, this thing is just bricking any high-end cards that touch this game. It's not happening to anyone. Like, it's not happening to everyone, but there are people with these cards that have been getting their cards bricked. It's MSRP, so yeah, MSRP doesn't matter. I think it's like $4,000 to get a 3090 in Australia, or 3,000, something like that. Yeah, 750 Ti is gonna be safe because the game probably won't boot. My R9 3090 8 GB stops my whole PC when I'm playing Xenotic. Really, Xenotic. How do you fuck up this much with a game? It's not just the game problem. It's also Nvidia's fault for not having their safeties trigger with their drivers. And also AMD's fault as well. Like, you're supposed to have safeties in these cards to stop them to stop them doing this. Like, there's supposed to be safeties there. But I guess for whatever reason, the drivers aren't engaging those safeties. It's supposed to thermal throttle, but for whatever reason, it's not. And it's just popping the card. I'm guessing it's a problem with the Nvidia and AMD drivers, and maybe the DirectX implementation or something. Use FOSS, and people wouldn't allow stupid shit like this in the drivers. Yeah, that's a good reason to use FOSS if I've ever heard one. I do feel bad for the people who bought like a 3090 and then it pops. Because getting a 3090 right now is not easy. Just getting a GPU right now isn't easy. Like, it's an absolute mess. Maybe because they program in Python. Like, at the end of the day, though, you're still calling DirectX. So, like, that's still going to be the main thing that the main thing you're worrying about. Let's see. What else do we have on here? Amazon has zero idea how video games work. They only see it as a money farm. Probably do. Oh, this isn't Linux news directly, but I think you guys will find it funny nonetheless. So, have you heard about Microsoft 365? And also now, Windows 365. Windows 365 cloud PCs. The transition is happening, boys. The transition is happening. Microsoft is releasing a cloud-based version of Windows that is certainly not going to be the direction the entire operating system goes in a couple of years. Definitely not. This is not the beginning of the end for desktop Windows. Definitely not. Yes, doing all my work on a computer that I do not own. So, people heard about this and I thought it was going to be a subscription for Windows. But no, it like, you know how Microsoft 365 is where you can get like the Office suite for a subscription. But no, it's not going to be that just yet. But they are going to be offering the ability to just run Windows in the cloud, which they're not the first person to, or first company to do that. Like, plenty of other companies have done this before. But as some regions begin to make their way to the challenge and disruption of the past 18 months, we're seeing a new world of work emerge. Organizations everywhere have transformed themselves through virtual processes and remote collaboration. And as people embrace hybrid work with people returning to the office, continuing to work from home, or some mix of the two, things will be different all over again. Let's go, boys! Let's go! Doing my work on a Windows computer... doing my work on a Windows computer on a Windows computer. Oh, one other funny thing about this, though, is if you want to use Windows and you don't want to have it installed on your local machine, like, let's say, for whatever reason, you're a Linux user and you, I guess, need Microsoft Office. This is one way you could get it if you don't want to run the web version. Someday, Windows will be a highly bloated Linux distro that streams your data from the cloud. I don't know if we're gonna see the Linux distro part. It's possible. But I think it's guaranteed it's going to be in the cloud. Like, they're already testing this out. This is by no means like a new thing. They already had a system called Azure Workspaces. That sounds right. Where they're already offering this, but basically now it's going to be more of like a general consumer thing. I use only Office. Why? Why don't you use LibreOffice? How about this? Run a Windows 10 VM on a Windows 365 running in a Windows 10 VM, running a Windows 365 running on your Windows 10 host. Or you could not do that. Does CBL Marina mean anything in this situation? Oh, I guess we can talk about that as well. Yeah, CBL Marina. I love that everyone's talking about this as if it's, like, a new thing. CBL Marina isn't new. Like, it's been a thing for quite a while. Oh, I guess it's only been a thing for a year. Okay, ignore me. It's been a thing for a year, which is still long enough. ZDNet, I guess. I use LibreOffice. It's so good and helped me with my assistant work. Wow, that actually sounds like a horribly boring job, but hey, if it pays well, that's good. That's all that matters at the end of the day. I have BSD in the cloud. Can we stop saying in the cloud? I now ban the word cloud on this channel. Windows Linux is also a new thing. CBL Marina, although, is a server thing. So this is the article from ZDNet. CBL Marina, Microsoft's internal Linux distribution for Azure first-party services and edge appliances. Basically, what this is they've publicly released the OS they were running on Azure. Like, there's not, like... there's nothing super special here. Like, obviously, you're running Windows Server as well, but they had some stuff that it was just easier to do on Linux. So they just made their own Linux distribution. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, CPL is also being used for WSL. So the way they're actually getting I did a video on this a while back. The WSL Windows app, WSL GUI applications. WSL GUI apps. I'm pretty sure they're running Wayland under CBL. CBL. Yeah. Okay. So this is basically, they're basically releasing the operating system they're running for WSL. The part where they're actually running, like, X-Wayland and stuff. So you have, your main distro, the one that you've installed, and then they've got the other one where they've got their graphical environment set up. I'm testing GitHub Copilot, and it's dumb sometimes. I hope it gets improved. I hope it gets worse. I want to see people just, throwing in dumb suggestions and, approving them and just seeing how bad it can get. Turn it into, another version of, what was it called? Microsoft Tay? That what it was? The one that turned into a neo-Nazi. Was that the one? I think it was. Actually, all of them turned into neo-Nazis. Don't trade... Here's a bit of advice to any upcoming AI developers. Don't train your, don't use your data set as Twitter. Bad idea. It always ends badly. Microsoft bought GitHub. Yes, they did. X11 is not developing HDR support anytime soon. That's because X11 is, massively crusty. It's quite crusty at this point. I don't think you're going to get HDR support until Wayland becomes, stable and good. I'm installing Gen 2 on my Raspberry Pi 2. Is that why you're in my stream? Because you have nothing better to do? I scraped a big moderated Discord service for my XML data sets. I mean, how many watts? How many watts? How many watts are watts? Anyone know how many power supply... or how many watts I need for my CPU and GPU FX6 6350 and R9 3090. Go to reviews for those two products and add the numbers together. It can't be any more than 500 or 600 watts. Year of the BSD desktop when? That's going to be when Linux becomes really popular. When Linux has 50% market share, everyone's going to shift to BSD because you can't be on Linux anymore because it's cool now. We'll have nothing better to do all the time. That's fair enough. Yeah, you've been sitting here for 2 hours watching me talk about Linux and other nonsense. So surely you can't have much to do with your day. Yeah, I don't know why anyone thought this was that crazy, because it's literally nothing special. It's just what they were using for their servers already. Desktop FreeBSD is more or less 90% desktop Linux in my experience. You can't be elite on the mainstream platform. Exactly. So does that mean that the Arch by the Waybeam is going to completely die when Steam Deck does really successful? Because you can't say that Arch is great if everyone's using Arch now. You've got to move over to Void, or you can't say Gen 2 actually. Gen 2 is not cool either, because Gen 2 is just Chrome OS is just Gen 2 as well. So I guess you have to use Void. I think the Switch is also based on Gen 2. No, sorry, Switch is BSD. Yeah, Switch is BSD. FreeBSD? OpenBSD. I'm 99% sure Switch is BSD. I'm going to check now. Nintendo Switch BSD. PS4 is FreeBSD. Is BSD. The Switch run... yeah, Nintendo Switch is based on FreeBSD. Anyone try GeForce Now? I know that's actually another thing about the Steam Deck. So HexDSL is like a big GeForce Now supporter. There's a lot of games that don't play nicely under Linux, and if it's available on GeForce Now, apparently the streaming works quite well. Like, surprisingly so. I haven't tested it myself because, like, Australian internet's still going to be a little bit flaky. But I think the game streaming as an option is way, way better than it was, like, when it was first being introduced. Back with, like, oh God, some of the early stuff. Didn't Microsoft have one, like, 5 or 6 years ago that they scrapped and they brought back a new thing? After we hop to BSD, we all make our own operating system and software won't exist anymore. We'll have to make our own software. No, let's just all switch to LFS. Everyone should just use LFS. Then you'll be good. I would rather run a Windows VM rather than streaming. I would as well, but I get why some people like the option. I think Nvidia has to release Australian version of GeForce Now called Kangaroo Now. Is that a joke? Are you insulting my national pride? Mate. You can try GeForce Now, but you have to pick a game where latency is a minimal issue. That would be my one concern using it. But it would be fine if you're playing, like, I don't know. I was talking about it earlier. Let's play, like, Civilization 6 or something. Like, Civ 6, I don't think it matters. Like, that's a fairly slow game, I guess. Brodie's OS from scratch when? I will do LFS at some point. It's just a matter of when I do. As I've said before, if VTuber Catgirls can install LFS, surely I can. Australian internet is basically kangaroos jumping around on antennas. Lol, you're not doing LFS? Oh, I think I am. I don't know what you're talking about, mate. I'm gonna be doing that. Don't you start with me. I played Bus Simulator 18. It runs fine. Why am I not surprised that's a thing that exists? You'd be surprised at the persistence of anime cat girls. That's a good point. You are onto something. Some people tell me I need to use Windows Server for my server instead of my Arch Linux server that I use to host my web server. Who in the world is telling you that? Also, I respect the fact that you use an Arch server instead of, like, Ubuntu. That's cool. Is there any VTubers who installed Arch or Gentoo? Yeah, Cyan did both those. Oh, well, she hasn't finished LFS. LFS is a long process. But yeah. We will be doing a podcast very soon together, which will be fun. I'm very excited for that to happen. Use Matrix IRC is outdated. Mate, use what are my words? Words are hard. Use game streaming. Desktop is outdated. There you go. If I install Gentoo, I'll die of boredom. Well, that's why you go and, like, go outside. Actually, we can't go outside. In Australia, I can't go outside, at least. Maybe you can go outside in your country. Maybe you're in the UK, where everyone's allowed to go outside now. Hippity-hoppity anime is degeneracy. This is true. I can't argue with that. It definitely is. But, like, it's degeneracy. This is why I have to, like, stop recording very often, because I cannot speak. I trip over so many basic words. Degeneracy. That is, I don't know why that's difficult to say. I will try Gentoo, actually. Go ahead. See how you like it. Try not to forget your password for your VM. I know that I can fix it. I'm going to cheroot into it and then fix it next time. But I was too lazy to fix it for today. Speaking of being too lazy to fix stuff, Linux Mint users who who don't update their system. What mic arm is that? This is if you go into eBay and you search mic arm and you click on the cheapest one, that's what this is. Literally the cheapest thing you could buy on eBay. That article's old news. It's 11 days ago. Is GNU Herd still a thing? Probably. I don't know what it is, but it probably is. So we all know that there was that article that came out ages ago about how Linux Mint users just don't update their system and are running like ancient, outdated stuff. Hi, is he using Qtile? Yes. Yes, I'm using Qtile. So, latest Linux Mint debuts smart, tunable update notifications. I don't like it when anything uses the word smart. Smart is one of those words that have, like, become really, really, like, poisoned. Pfetch, yeah, I swapped to Pfetch. Awesome equals Qtile, exactly, yes. Smart notifications. Earlier updates were shown by a little orange dot on the Update Manager's icon in the system tray, which could easily be missed by users. You've got to be really dumb to miss, like, a big orange dot, but whatever. In Linux Mint 20.2, the Update Manager is now available to remember how long each update has been available for... is now able to remember how many days the computer was on during that time and assess whether or not a notification will be welcome to remind you of available updates. I'm kind of thinking about unsubbing from Luke Smith. All he talks about anymore is crypto and cultural issues that I only ever disagree with him on, and that... I actually like the direction Luke's gone. I don't think that he fits the whole Linux videos. I kind of like the fact that he's sort of, like, doing the weird shit he's doing now. You know, like talking about what Bitcoin is in 2021. That's my favorite video Luke's ever made. Explaining what a Bitcoin is in 2021. In practice, the Update Manager will now default to showing a notification if a user... I just realized my music paused. If a particular update has been available for more than 7 days, the user has been logged in, or if it's older than 15 calendar days. These values are configurable and can be tuned by the user, Brodie. Can be tuned by the user down to 2 days all the way up to 3 months. 3 months is a long time not to update your system. Maybe it's not as bad on, like, if you're not using a rolling release. But, like, imagine not updating your system for 3 months on Arch. Also, by default, these notifications will only be displayed for security and kernel updates, but that's configurable as well. Furthermore, in order to not inundate the user, the notification system has a grace period setting as well, which by default is configured to mute notifications if an update has been applied over the last 30 days. In essence, this means users will only be updating the installation once every month, but that's still a lot better than running years-old outdated installations. This is true. This is very true. I still can't believe there are so many people on Mint who hadn't updated their system in, like, 3+ years. That's insane. The Bitcoin video is a fair candidate for the best Luke video. He didn't even explain it that well. It's like when you ask a boomer how something works. Oh, God. Yeah, you're not exactly wrong. There were a couple of podcasts of his that I listened to, had some interesting themes. I don't think he has patience to be another Linux tutorial guy. Yeah, I think that what he's doing now makes more sense for what he's doing. Please talk about Matrix more. Matrix is cool. Join my Matrix server. I don't know what to say about Matrix. Like, nothing's really happening. It's just like, it's just existing. It's just doing its thing. Like, I can't just keep making videos being like, Matrix is cool. You should use Matrix. Like, I know that there's some channels out there who who like to make the same video over and over and over again. Maybe a channel that has the same name as Linus Torvalds. Maybe a channel that has the same name as Linus Torvalds likes to do that, but I like to make different videos. If something fun happens with Matrix, I certainly will talk about it. Talk about Matrix 2 Reloaded more. What would you say if I said I haven't actually seen anything besides the first Matrix movie? I really haven't. Also, just because you're using Matrix for the bridge doesn't mean you don't need to follow Discord TOS. Yes. Well, look, here's the thing with Matrix. If you join someone's chat, they've still got, like, terms of service. Oh, you mean Linus... yes, I mean Linus Tech Tips. I thought you were talking about DistroTube there. Well, okay, DT also counts. But yes, Linus Tech Tips is really bad for it. As far as I know, critical consensus of the Matrix sequels is they're not very good. My favorite movie series is Fast and the Furious. So... maybe I'm not the best person to judge whether something is good or not. Wait, what is this? Wait, he made another YouTube short that where he doesn't know what a YouTube short is. We're gonna watch this. I just saw this come out. Okay, don't care about this ad. Oh, the color grading is slightly less shit. He's fixed it a little bit. Audacity uploaded a new Linux install video if I know. They did do that. They mainly focused around the Steam Deck. I'm pretty sure. Linus Tech Tips are great because they talk about things the way that even I can understand. I love Linus Tech Tips. I know I'm talking shit about them, but like I do love Linus Tech Tips. Brodie, please watch Train Spotting. 105. Yeah. This is not a short. There's just no world this is a short. I do like that he finally learned how to, like, focus his camera. Oh, wait, no. No, I was going to say he learned how to focus his camera. Why don't you use Adblock on YouTube? Because I like supporting creators. Okay. I'm going to say this for the last time. DT, I know you're probably going to see this. Fix your camera. For the past 2 years, it has been focused on your microphone. This is your face. This is what's supposed to be in focus, not this. I don't know how it has been wrong for so long. Like, this is basic camera stuff. Why is your microphone in focus and not your face? I don't understand. How have you managed to do this for so goddamn long? Like, he has a good camera as well. Like, he just somehow has had his camera set up for, like, the past 2 years completely wrong. Oh. Bro, you gonna join us on DT's Patreon chat this weekend? I think it's at like 12:30 a.m. So I might join for a little bit, but I can't stick around for long. Anyway.
In the last couple of days, I've really spent a lot of time tweaking the look and feel of my videos. You guys probably noticed in the video I posted yesterday some of the animations that I used. You probably also noticed that I played around a little bit with color grading. Now, all of these really neat graphics and cool effects, how did I
Okay, Grandpa, they are really neat and cool effects, aren't they?
Achieve this?
We have to see that again. Let's watch this really neat and cool effect, Grandpa.
Some of the animations that I used, you probably also noticed that I played around a little bit with color grading. Now, all of these...
Okay, I guess that's a neat and cool effect. I guess if that's one way to describe what we just saw.
Really neat graphics and cool effects. How did I achieve this? Well, I achieved it by using free and open source software, namely the GIMP, Kdenlive, and OBS.
The GIMP. The GIMP. Who else here uses the GIMP? I use the Linux. The Linux is my operating system. The GIMP.
The GIMP.
The GIMP.
Achieved this? Well, I achieved it by using free and open source software, namely the GIMP.
I can't get past this.
Namely the GIMP.
Namely the GIMP.
Kdenlive, and OBS. All three of these programs have a ton of advanced features that really allow you to create professional graphics and videos. In fact, one of the things I'm really proud of is the fact that I use strictly free and open source software on Linux to create my content.
That's actually how the GIMP team asks you to refer to GIMP. Well, the GIMP team is dumb then. Why would they do that?
Which is something that not all Linux content creators can say. Some of them actually use proprietary software. Some of them actually create their content using Windows or Mac. Shame on them. Now let me know what you guys think about the animations and about the color grading. If you like it, if you don't like it, post in the comments below. Also, if you want to...
Speaking of the color grading, I'm going to show you what the color grading is like. Look at this, okay? No, I don't want to watch it. Okay. We're not going to watch this ad. No. Anyway, this is the color Did you know that DT has become an Instagram influencer? What is this color grading? I know mine's not the best, but like I don't know what he's what he's done to his camera here. It looks like he's gotten sick. Like he's dying. Why is he yellow? Like what part of his brain was like, I'm going to make myself yellow today? This is a good idea. TD, the daddy. Brodie and DT should have a boxing match like all Linux YouTubers. I feel like DT would actually probably... yeah, no, DT works out more than I do. He would drop me. I couldn't handle DT. I haven't worked out in ages. Brodie racist confirmed. I'm yellow every... Right, no, DT's the one who's... Look, he's the one who's made himself yellow. He's not normally yellow. That's the problem here. Why does DT always look like he has a black eye? That's called not sleeping. That's called being very bad at getting good sleep. Remember, DT has actual guns in his garage. Right, we're not going to have a shooting match. It's going to be a boxing match. What are you talking about? Brodie Luke Smith confirmed. Maybe. It's like having a good shaving tool but not shaving your beard. Doesn't work out, likes anime, no wonder. Hey, there's an anime about working out. That's true. I was going to talk about something else, and then I got completely sidetracked by DT being bright yellow. Oh, right, I was going to show you what an actual YouTube short is. For anyone who actually wants to make a YouTube short, this is how you make a YouTube short. Let's see. What one? What's one that's fun here? Let's see. See? This right here. This is a YouTube short. I know, like, I don't have bars on the top. This is a YouTube short. Vertical video. Less than a minute. Short in the thing. Short in the thing down here. Also short in the tags. YouTube short. Very easy. I don't know why so many people are struggling with this. We need a Brodie X DT Pornhub premium video. We can upload a podcast to Pornhub. They pay pretty good ad rates. Like, they pay better ad rates than YouTube does. Will Brodie become a VTuber? If I keep talking to Cyan, then probably. She's gonna force me to become a VTuber. DT got that black eye from knocking out a gator in Louisiana swamps. Louisiana swamps! I like that Line of Text is promoting Linux to a bigger audience. Well, that's because they have Anthony. Anthony is great. Oh, right, yes. How to switch to Linux. Yes. Oh god, it's 15 minutes long. Okay, is it gonna play an ad? Is it just... Oh, nope, we're not watching that. I don't want to give... I don't want this company to get any support from the ad. I don't care about your intro.
Conceptually, Linux is very different from Windows, pretty much across the board. Some of these differences are primarily visual, while others are much more fun.
Brodie doesn't have an ad blocker. I do. Right here. I just don't block ads on YouTube.
Fundamental. If you've heard of Linux before, you've probably heard that it's open.
I've never heard of Linux. Never heard of it.
Now, evangelists will tell you that means free as in speech, and this is true in that anyone can take a look at the source code and modify it as they see fit. But what it means is... I do like the swap to Ubuntu when he said heavier. That's beautiful. Good job, whoever edited this one. Aesthetics and even different ways of installing software. Now here's some good full-featured desktop-oriented ones.
Okay, actually, let's have a look at this one. So beginner-friendly. Ubuntu, Pop! OS, Elementary, Mint, Zorin, Solus. Yeah, okay, that's all fair enough. Intermediate. Garuda, Endeavor. I don't know whether I put Endeavor there. But sure. MX, Fedora, OpenSUSE. Okay. Why is Brave ad blocking trash? Just asking. It breaks a lot of websites. As for hard mode, Arch, Gentoo, Slackware, LFS. I want to put that in like super hard mode. Cubase and NixOS. Yeah, okay. That's fair enough. Yeah. I can't argue with that list. Manjaro easy. You'd move Manjaro onto this one? Can we still get Brave rewards by watching Brave ads in Australia? That's the only reason I'm using Brave. I literally would not be using Brave if that wasn't the case. Slackware is hard relative to Ubuntu. Yeah, I agree with this list. This is I might move Manjaro, and I might... Yeah, I'd probably move Manjaro, but apart from that, and also move LFS, like, out of the list altogether. It doesn't even need to be here. But, yeah, it's a good list.
If you've got one that you like best, let us know why down below. Not only because it's part of the well-known and well-documented Ubuntu and Debian lineage, but it's also because...
Did you just say Debian?
It's part of the well-known and well-documented Ubuntu and Debian lineage.
Debian? Okay, Anthony. I don't think I've ever heard anyone pronounce Debian as Debian, but sure, okay.
Lineage, but it's also because it has a number of features and sane defaults that make it friendlier and easier to get up and running. Start by downloading the ISO. Now, make it friendlier.
Who else uses that computer like this, man?
Start by
he has another monitor back there. I was gonna say, like, there's no way he's managed to, like, he managed to do this without seeing the monitor.
Downloading the ISO. Now, Pop comes in two flavors. One that includes the very special NVIDIA driver, and one for everyone else. You can use either, but it's easiest to download.
We know how to get Pop! OS. We know how to... What is he going to use? Rufus or something?
Files, and vice versa. Finally, you can choose to create an extended label and icon files, which just makes your...
Fair enough. Okay, booting.
It's a Penguin. Time to plug it in and give it a whirl.
I love that USB drive. That's great.
Power on your PC and enter the BIOS. We'll need to first make sure that the flash drive is shown.
Oh, Jesus Christ, there's a thunderstorm going on outside. I don't know if you heard that. I just heard thunder. If I stop streaming at some point, that's going to be why. Just letting you guys know.
And
just in case my PC shuts down.
And second, we need to make sure that Secure Boot is disabled. Otherwise, you'll just get this fun message when you try to boot. Fedora and Ubuntu both support it. But laptops, all-in-ones, and pre-builts may have a simple toggle. Save and exit, and you should be...
Thunder, feel many of you have a good taste in music? I want to know.
Booting from your flash drive. Hit escape to show...
What do you use to manage your backups or snapshots? I really should be backing stuff up. I'm very lazy. I don't actually have backups for stuff. Yeah, good. Some AC/DC fans in here. Yes. Okay. Wanted to make sure my audience wasn't full of people with bad taste in music.
Show them again. It may take a little while to boot after the final message, so give it a minute before assuming something is going wrong.
Okay.
If all goes well...
Wait, can you hear it? Maybe it's a little too quiet to hear.
You'll be looking at the Pop! OS desktop, and an Install Pop! OS window will come right up. Choose your language and region, then choose your keyboard.
So this is how to install Pop! OS. Fair enough. We know how to click next.
Once you're booted into Pop! OS, log in and you'll be greeted with the post-install setup. Unlike a certain other operating system, this only features a single privacy setting.
AC/DC is
with
POG,
everything else being things like typing, time zone, and how you want your docked and top bar to look and function. I like it best when it's set up like this.
Oh, they go over installing Wine. Interesting. Installing games. Yeah, okay. No, this is a good video. Like
most game control.
Like this is just generally I'm not going to watch all of it, but this is generally just a good video. I don't have anything negative to say about this. Yeah, Anthony, as always, just like does a great job. Like, if you want, like, I think Anthony is the best thing to happen to Linux on Linus Tech Tips. Nah, AC/DC sucks. Well, so do you. Quite the storm you got going out there, I heard. I haven't heard anything. Apparently, we do have a storm. Really cool.
Controllers just work out of the box. The list of devices that Linux supports is much larger than the list it doesn't. And the majority of those are a result of a company not releasing the driver, or at least not releasing the information relevant for making one from scratch. NVIDIA's much maligned proprietary driver, on the other hand, works pretty well and has been getting some serious attention from Team Green recently with DLSS and ray tracing support and more. The Pop! OS comes with the latest drivers, and updates for them come down through the Pop Shop like everything else. So, if installing Linux isn't that big of a hassle, it is rapidly advancing, so get subscribed so you don't miss our annual-ish Linux gaming update.
Yeah, Anthony's just done a great video, as always. Anthony is my favorite host. There's a reason why Anthony is my favorite host. He's basically just Wendell. He's basically like Linus Tech Tips Wendell. Manual tiling window managers suck. Yeah, that does make sense. It doesn't make sense, but it does make sense where you got it from. Like DT, but not bold. Like DT, but does research. Jesus Christ, that thunder. Okay. I think we're gonna... I was gonna end off the stream soon anyway. But I think we're gonna end off the stream here. Like DT, but chunkier. I've been watching LCD since 2014. In my opinion, Anthony is the greatest thing to happen to Linus Tech Tips in general. Oh, I fully agree. Yeah, I think Anthony's great. I know we're doing a bit of a shorter stream than we normally do. But I think this is a good length. I think I've been doing some streams on this channel for like way too long, and like a lot of people have been getting sort of bored with it. Wait for my clock to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, sure, I can do that. I'm happy to do that. I can see a use case for manual tiling window managers, but not something I'd use. I'd like dynamic tilers. I think manual tilers are a really good idea if you... What's the word? if you want to have very specific layouts and have them like automatically set up. So like you press a button and then it will set everything up with that layout. I think that's a really great use for a manual tiler. Reminder, this is probably the last day before YouTube deletes all unlisted videos before 2017 0101. Wait, what? I didn't hear about that. Deletes unlisted. Oh, yeah, okay. I did not hear about that. YouTube's about to make all your old unlisted videos private, but oh, okay, they're gonna make them private. That's fine. I thought they were gonna delete them. No, that's not that big of a deal. Okay, it is a bit of a big of a deal, but like it's not as bad. No, that's not as big of a deal. Definitely not. Why System D is more than Knit System? Yes, very true. Just re-unlist them then. And we've hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Woo! Congratulations. I don't know why we kept going till that point. Yay! Yeah, sure. Anyway, as always, thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna go make some lunch, and hopefully my power doesn't go out with this thunderstorm. So... yeah? Next week, I think we're gonna do the Gen 2 stream. I only did this stream because it was like something I had to do in place of it. Just so I had something to do. But next week will be a follow-up to the Gen 2 stream. We're going to be installing a graphical environment, doing stuff like that. Probably going to be just chatting the entire time because, you know, it's going to take a while. Game streams, we're going to be doing Spyro. We're starting Spyro up, and we're going to be playing more Celeste. So, come hang out on the gaming channel for that one. And as for the podcast, next week I'm uploading another solo one, but the week after that, I'm going to be doing a podcast with Cyan Yan. Please go check out her channel. She is a great VTuber and just makes great videos. Yeah. So, I'm going to play the outro and talk to you guys later, I guess. Emerge Gnome in Gen 2. That'll be the entire stream then. That'll be literally the entire stream if I do that. But I might. Maybe. Anyway, I'm going to play the outro and talk to you guys later. And the outro is very quiet. We'll turn the outro up. Now the outro is less quiet. See you later.